I'll be honest, at first I did not like Atlanta's reconfiguration, but now after 3 races in, I'm starting to like it. Yo, what is up everyone? My name is Jett. Welcome back to the episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop. Hope you all having a wonderful Sunday. As you can tell, I'm back home. No worry, you don't have to deal with me. Back home from Texas, back home in my normal studio. And what a way to come back from. What a race that was in Atlanta. I'll be honest, the first 2 stages were pretty dull. Ford, specifically Joey Logano, absolutely dominated. But stage 3, I thought, saw everything you loved about Super Speedway racing and didn't have anything you hated about Super Speedway racing. I thought stage 3 was perfect, but let's be honest, stage 2 was very dull. I mean, stage 1, Logano led wire to wire. Stage 2, Logano would have also led basically the entire way through. If not, he lost it to his teammate Austin Cindric after Logano basically kind of held up the pack to allow his affiliate teammate Harrison Burton to stay on the lead lap or not go another lap down. So kind of jumbled everything up and he lost stage 2 victory. But it was stage 3 where things got very interesting. So when stage 3 began, people were wondering, can anybody stop the Ford, specifically Joey Logano? Because even in qualifying, I believe the top 8 were all Fords. Joey Logano won pole. So you knew that, okay, the blue ovals are going to be very tough to beat. And we saw some moments like in stage 2, Kyle Busch led a couple laps. Even though it's a blue oval, Logano's teammate Ryan Blaney also was there in the mix, but it was mainly Joey Logano. When stage 3 happened, through pit strategy, you had another Ford, but it was Aric Almirola and Daytona 500 champion Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that were now up in front. And it was around this time where things got a bit more racy. In the first 2 stages, it was a lot of single file freight train running, not many drivers trying to make a move, still working on their car. But when stage 3 happened, things got a lot more aggressive. You saw a lot more 3-wide battle in the middle of the pack. Denny Hamlin wanted to throw his name into the basket of drivers to lead at Atlanta today. He passed Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and led for a couple laps there. And of course, Super Speedway racing, more aggressive, you lead to crashes. Lap 190, Kevin Harvick. At first, it seemed as though as Chastain got into him, Harvick just got loose because Chastain was right behind his bumper, took the air off of him. Now, Chastain did touch him, but Harvick was already in the process of getting turned around. Harvick spins, collecting Josh Berry and others involved. 10 cars were involved in this crash, 5 of them out of the race, including Kevin Harvick. And then just for fun, Chastain decided on pit road, you know what, instead of going through the pavement, I'm going to go through the grass, because why not? I swear, Chastain, love him or hate him, he is a character. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr. eventually after that got shuffled out. He was blocking very aggressively, but you knew he was blocking because he was slower than everybody else. He was holding everybody out, but eventually he got spat out to the side. Now up was Aric Almirola. But with Aric Almirola, it was interesting because with him, he had 70 plus lap on his tire. So he had very worn tires, and we hadn't seen how long can you run on a set of tires at this racetrack. We haven't seen that really. Well, we saw that. You can really only go around 70 or so laps because off for turn number 4, Aric Almirola loses the tire, spins right in front of Kyle Larson, taking both of them out of the race and collecting 3 other drivers in the process, like Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick, and others. Tough break for Aric Almirola and Larson. Larson, was up. They were up there towards the front, having a shot at having a good run or maybe even winning the race because they were ahead of the Fords, and they ended up taking each other out because of a blown tire. So when that happened, now you had Larson and Aric Almirola out of the race. The attention turned back to Logano and his former teammate Brad Keselowski. The 6 and the 22 went after each other the entire rest of the way. The last 45, 50 or so laps were very entertaining. One thing I love what Fox did, I think they did a great job of highlighting the blocks that Keselowski was making and including his spotter TJ Majors in the process of making sure that the blocks he made, they were done at the right time. TJ Majors, they included him in the audio on the broadcast. He did a tremendous job detailing not only what was happening behind Keselowski, but what was happening 2, 3, 4 rows behind those drivers. It was very entertaining and very insightful to listen to see and watch and witness the moves that Keselowski was making, because he had a lot to deal with, because on the outside, he had the Toyota drivers. He had Reddick, Bell, and Hamlin. And on the inside, he had Logano, Blaney, and Cindric. So you had 2 rows of teammates, basically, of teams gunning after you. His teammate, Chris Buescher, was already out of the race. So yes, even though he was in a Ford, the Penske drivers were not going to work with Keselowski. So he was a sit and duck almost. 6 cars against 1. And I thought Keselowski and his spotter did a tremendous job. And I think Fox did a really good job of highlighting how good Keselowski was keeping those drivers at bay. But Eventually, Logano was able to get up there. He got a good push from Blaney, was able to get side by side, even get ahead of Keselowski for a little bit before Keselowski took the lead right back, and it ended up being the final few laps side by side between the two, Keselowski and Logano for the win. And coming to the final lap, things switched up a little bit. You had Keselowski and Bell on the outside, and on the inside you had Logano and LaJoie. LaJoie gives a good push to Logano. Logano forces the entry, moves up top, just barely gets on the right rear corner panel of Keselowski, able to make a move, able to get side by side and get a good launch off of turn number 2, help with the push from Christopher Bell into turns 3 and 4. Logano out in front, but this time Bell wants to make a move. He goes up to the top lane, can't hold the run. Keselowski gets blocked down low, and Logano holds them off to win at Atlanta for the first time in his career, his first win of 2023 and his 32nd career Cup Series victory, and what was a tremendous way to cap off racing at Atlanta. Tremendous finish and a great battle between those two in the final 50 laps, and basically the final stage to what started as a very dull race ended up having a very entertaining and, most importantly, a very clean finish. So here's a look at the results. Joey Logano wins. Brad Keselowski, tough break for him. Oh so close, comes home in second. Christopher Bell in third. Corey LaJoie, fourth place. You know, last time we were here in Atlanta, he was in position to win. It seems as though that Corey LaJoie may have a new favorite racetrack at Atlanta. Always seems to be in the mix. Tyler Reddick finishes in 5th after starting the day. Not feeling 100%, it was able to salvage a 5th place finish ahead of his boss, Denny Hamlin. Ryan Blaney 7th. Eric Jones in 8th. And take a look at this clip. I don't know how he did it, but Eric Jones came like a bat out of hell. It looked like he got 20 miles an hour boost over everybody else through the middle to finish inside the top 10. Rookie Ty Gibbs in 9th, and Kyle Busch rounds out the top 10. Austin Cindric 11th, Noah Gragson 12th, Chastain, Bowman, and Gilliland in the top 15. Allmendinger, Stenhouse, Josh Berry, Martin Truex Jr., and Austin Dillon the top 20. Some other drivers, other notables that were caught up in crashes. Chase Briscoe just had a really bad day, 24th. I think he had some mechanical problems as well. And some other drivers were involved in crashes like Bubba Wallace. He crashed, I believe, around lap 10, got loose all by himself in turn 2 and slammed to the inside wall, finishes in 27th. And then other drivers like Priest, Suarez, Almirola, Larson, Byron, Harvick, Burton, Buescher, and McLeod were all involved in crashes earlier in the race. So, yeah, again, just to reiterate, Stage 3, I thought it had everything you wanted in super speedway racing. It had great blocking. It had, great runs, great pushes, great spotting. The passes that were being made sense. They were really good technical passes. They weren't just passes that just like, oh, let me just go blindfolded and throw a dart at the wall and just hope it sticks type of moves. They were very methodical passes. And it made stage racing, or at least the third stage of the race, very fun to watch, and it had everything I loved about super speedway racing. Yeah, you had crashes, but that was like normal. And to be honest, I'm surprised there were only 10 cars as a maximum amount in a crash. So I thought that was really fun. I really enjoyed the third stage of that race, and I think Atlanta could be a track where you see the vibe of old super speedway racing, because back then in the early 2000s, yes, you had pack racing, but still handling mattered a ton. Yeah, yes, it's pack racing, anybody can win, but you still need to have a very good car. You need to have a car that could handle very well, and you need to have a very skilled driver behind the wheel. Back then, you couldn't just run it everywhere you wanted. You need to have a car that allowed you to make the moves that you could make. That's what we saw today. Only certain drivers could make the moves that they were able to make because of how good their car handled. The first 2 stages, they were pretty dull. Everyone just migrated up to the top when Joe Logano went there. But again, the third stage doesn't make up for the race, but it was still a very entertaining way to close out racing at Atlanta. And I think, and just for now, I love the racing at Atlanta. I know what happened Saturday, but I'm talking for the Cup race. What we've seen with the Cup race so far, I thought it has been very entertaining. It's improved the racing, I feel like. You still get that super speedway vibe, but you don't get the bad side of it, at least for now. We're crossing our fingers to see what happens at Atlanta when we come back in the summer under the lights. But I thought this race was entertaining, the third stage. The first 2 stages, they were pretty dull. So I probably give this race 7 out of 10. The third stage was really fun, but that doesn't make up for the first 2 stages. But it was a clean race, which I'm happy about. Clean finish, very happy about that. I think it showed. In Brad Keselowski's interview, he talked about on how I think this shows that you can finish a race clean. And he's right. He's not wrong. I mean, this showed, we had what, 20 plus cars in a pack, and not only in a pack, but in a smaller pack. Daytona, Talladega, you have way more space to run. Atlanta is much smaller, and still, we were able to get a clean finish. The last 45, 50 laps, we had moments, but everyone still stayed on their P's and Q's. And I think it shows that if you give drivers respect, if y'all race with respect, we can put on a good show and not look like idiots. So hopefully that mindset continues to Talladega later in the year, Daytona, and so on. But I don't know, we'll just see. But very interesting and a very great way to come back for Ford. The past 2 weeks, Ford was struggling. Las Vegas should say, they got killed over there. They were crushed by Chevrolet and Hendrick Motorsports. Phoenix, kind of the same thing. They just weren't there outside of Kevin Harvick. But today they showed up to play. Not only did Logano lead the most laps, over 170, but Brad Keselowski also led a ton of laps. And they end up taking home the first two spots, first and second place with Logano and Keselowski. Keselowski, that 6 car is going to win a race this year. I mean, they have been just improving week after week after week after week. And I think that the 6 car, I don't know when, but that 6 car is going to go to victory lane real soon. But yeah, Corey LaJoie, if he's going to win a race, it's going to come at Atlanta because, man, that's now 2 times in a row he has been in contention to win. So, yeah, lots of storylines to come out of this race, not only for some of the drivers, but also the future of the track, like how the racing is going to evolve. Because even after year 1, the track surface already looked like it aged about 5 years. Maybe it's just because it's the climate of Atlanta or what, but I was quite surprised by how much the track had changed already in 1 year's time, which makes me very interested to see what happens later in the year and also the next 2 or 3 years of racing at Atlanta. But those are my thoughts on the race. What are your thoughts on it? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Congratulations to your winner, Joey Logano at Atlanta.